Test. Welcome back to Swordman Josh Gaming, and the last video I did in this format, it seemed to have gotten some likes in doing it that way, so I've done another one this way. I mentioned in my last deck tech of doing a tribal deck that hasn't been done. There are 0 decks on EDH Rec for this tribe, and it's a tribe that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is Turtle Tribal. This deck is called Planet of the Turtles, an homage to Planet of the Apes. So my turtles have evolved. There's not enough turtles in Magic's history to be able to make a full turtle tribal deck. I didn't want to go with changelings because that's kind of a cop-out. There is one changeling in here, but it is a turtle shell changeling right here. So what I've done is I decided that as an homage to Planet of the Apes with Planet of the Turtles, my turtles have adapted and evolved to be able to protect their waters both on them and above them. So everything that's in here is a ship or a turtle except for the mana rocks. So the mana rocks are just mana rocks. So we're going to go through this deck, and bear with me. I'm probably going to talk a little more than I normally do just because I enjoy this so much. We're actually going to go through each turtle since it is a tribal deck, and these are about all the turtles you can run. So my commander for this, on the Planet of the Turtles, there are 2 islands. There's Arixmacy's Slumbering Isle, which is the commander for this EDH deck. And also on this planet is Island Fish. So yeah, there's two islands on here. There could be a third one. Actually, I don't think. Yep, there's a third one right here. And Mikokoro, Center of the Sea. So we have 3 islands on our planet. Outside of that, we have 1 goddess of the planet, Tamio the Moon Sage. So she's the planeswalker. She's a moon sage. All oceans need moons. So I figured she was on theme as well. She is the goddess of the entire planet. So as we go through, we have Angler Turtle, which is a 5/7 hexproof. Creatures your opponents control attack each combat if able. They don't necessarily have to attack you. A lot of these turtles have big butts, so hopefully this persuades other people to attack somebody besides you. We also have Armored Turtle, which is a 0/5. Calcite Snapper, which has a landfall trigger, but these turtles, so the Angler Turtle has hexproof. The Calcite Snapper has Shroud. The Coldwater Snapper has hexproof. I think there's one more, if I remember right. I thought there was one more that had hexproof. Oh, the Venatara Snapper. Can't be the target of spells or abilities as long as you control no untapped lands. So, going back through the turtles, we have Calcite Snapper. We have Coldwater Snapper. We have Giant Tortoise, Giant Turtle, Horned Turtle, Meandering Tower Shell, Mist River Turtle, Riptide Turtle, Skull Gator, Silberland Snapper, Steelbane Hydra, Thriving Turtle, Thunderous Snapper, Turtle Shell Changeling, Ventara Snapper, and the Wormfang Turtle. All of these are the only turtles that happen to be in Magic, except for, I believe, a couple of artifacts. So, we have, in terms of spells that are also specifically turtles, we have Tortoise Formation. We're going to go ahead and scroll up here. We have the Shell of the Lost Kappa. Now, while the Kappa are from Kamigawa, and they're actually somewhere between goblins and turtles, they actually serve as a turtle function, and this Shell of the Lost Kappa is considered a sacred relic, and it actually looks exactly like a turtle shell. Oops, let me scroll this way so that way you guys can see it right here. Shell of the Lost Kappa. And then we have, if I can find the one other turtle, Chimeric Idol right here. This, in the Great Change, was, well, you can see it here. On the actual card, it doesn't say 3/3 turtle artifact creature. It actually just says 3/3 artifact creature. But it was erratated to be a turtle artifact creature, so it fits on theme. Now, going into the ships that we have. So we've gone over our Planeswalker, which is our deity for the planet, our islands on the planet. Now, the ships that are... So we have creature ships, but then we also have ships that are turtles can pilot. So we're running, and there's not a lot of ships either, so we're running most of them. We're running Ghost Ship, Living Airship, because I said that they could control both the waters, the area on the waters and above their waters. So Living Airship, and you notice these are, this says it's a spirit, but I believe it was erratated to be a spirit. I have the cards right here in front of me. Let me scroll back here real quick. Ghost Ship, if you're curious, was originally a ship. So a lot of these have been erratated to not be ships. However, on all of these actual cards, they are listed as ships. So Ghost Ship's a ship. We have the Living Airship. We have the... Oh, I forgot about Meandering Tower Shell when we were going through the Turtles, which is one of the bigger ones and interesting because it's a 5/9 with Island Walk. And whenever it attacks, you exile it and you return to the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking at the beginning of the declare attacker step on the next turn. I actually went ahead and got 4 of these guys, trying to figure out if there's a way that I can abuse that ability and make a 60-card turtle deck. But anyways, back to the ships. Ghost Ship, Living Airship. We have the good old Pirate Ship, which also is just a pinger. We have Reef Pirates. We have the Sprazin Outrigger, Steam Frigate, the Stronghold Zeppelin, Talus Airship, and the Wind Scouter. So those are our ships that are actually creatures. However, the ships that we can pilot are actually quite a bit more extensive. So we have the Aethersphere Harvester, which it's close. I'd call it a ship. It looks like a ship. We're running it. We have the Beaumat Bazaar Barge, which is a ship for a canal. We have the Conqueror's Galleon, which actually flips to the Conqueror's Foothold, which allows us to get Graveyard Recursion. And I don't know if I click on this if it will. We're going to see if it'll let me flip it or not. I've never done this before. So it will. So here's Conqueror's Galleon. So Conqueror's Galleon, if it attacks, you exile at the end of combat, then return it transformed. And what it does on the transform side is it becomes a land, and you can tap it for a colorless. You can 2 mana and tap it to draw, to loot basically, 4 mana to draw a card, or 6 card to return a card from your graveyard to your hand. So that's one of our ships. We have the Consulate Dreadnought. We have the Dusk Legion Zealot, the Fell Flagship, the Heart of Kiran, the Predator Flagship. We can't pilot, but this is basically our only removal. So for basically 7 mana and tapping this, we can remove anything except for like gods that are out now. We can remove any creature in the game because we can give it flying, and then we can destroy a target creature with flying. So if they have flyers, we can actually destroy them, so that way we can get through with our flyers for 5 mana and tap it. Or if they just have a big baddie that we need to get rid of, for 7 mana, we can destroy any creature. Going through the rest of our ships, we have the Shadowed Caravel, the Sky Skiff, Sky Sovereign Council Flagship, the Sleek Schooner, and the Weatherlight. So we'll go through the other things that are on theme as well, and then through the mana rocks. So on theme, we're running. It's not really on theme. It's Door to Destinies. This is kind of in here just because it goes in a tribal deck. It's off theme, yes, unless you want to say that the Door of Destinies opened and that's the way that these turtles evolved. We'll go through the rest of it that aren't land. We're running Firemine's Vessel. This would actually probably be better with a Oh, the new one that just came out. 2 mana and then tap it for any color of your commander's color. Arcane Signet. We're running Fountain of Ichor, Guardian Idol as 2 of our mana rocks. Also because they turn into creatures, so it kind of protects us from a board wipe. If the board gets wiped and a lot of our turtles die, actually our vehicles don't, and this allows us to get back in the game and start equipping or accruing our vehicles. We're running Pyramid of the Pantheon, which is just a mana rock that eventually allows us to tap for 3 mana of any one color after a couple of turns. We're running Simic Key Rune because it's a mana rock that's on color for us, and it turns into a green and blue crab. Of course, we're running Soul Ring, and we're running Weatherseed Totem, which is a mana rock that taps for green. Where's the mana rock that taps for blue? Guess it's not in here. Other things that are on theme, we're running Imprisoned in the Moon. Since there's a moon on the planet, obviously since we have seas, we have a moon, in my opinion. So Imprisoned in the Moon works. Leyline of Anticipation, the artwork's just that of a sea, so it works. Telepathy is basically, except for mana rocks, one of the only cards that I'd consider off theme. Unless if I put it in here as it being on theme because the turtles have evolved and they have telepathy now. We have Chain Stasis. It has a ship in the picture. It has an ocean in the picture. High Tide, same way. This isn't the High Tide picture that I'm using. It's actually the old one from Fallen Empires that looks like it's an under the sea shot. We have Pale Moon, Sea King's Blessing, Tidal Bore and Tidal Wave, and Voyage In. And last but not least, Sea God's Revenge. I think that covers everything in the deck. But like I said, this is just a fun tribal deck. We'll go through the lands. We're running Treetop Village because it allows us to equip our vehicles. Mishra's Factory for the same reason. Lumbering Falls for the same reason. Fairy Conclave for the same reason. We're running a Command Tower, 13 forests, 15 islands. It's not meant to be competitive. It's meant to be fun. Will it catch some people off guard? Absolutely. Can it survive board wipes? Absolutely, because we have all kinds of mana rocks and creatures that can turn, or lands that can turn into creatures that can then crew our vehicles. Is it going to win regularly? Absolutely not. Is it going to be fun? Is it going to be on theme? Yes. So if you love turtles, and as much as I do, and the turtles are my spirit animal. I have a turtle tattooed on me. Hope to get more turtles tattooed on me. I'm a scuba diver. It's been where I want to be for a long time, is under the water, and on the water is where I feel it's my heart home, if you guys understand what that means. But yes, this is Turtle Tribal. There is not a single... we'll look at Cryptolith right real quick because I glanced over it. Not except for the fact that we have a lighthouse and we have water here. Cryptolith Right is one that I just kind of ran across in terms of a mana rock, but I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention because it's super cheap and probably pretty good for Commander. When it enters battlefield tapped, okay, no worries. So you can add 1 mana of any color and each player loses 1 life. That includes you. At the beginning of your upkeep, if each player has 10 or less life, you transform it, and it transforms into Aura of the Emrakul, which is a flying death toucher, 1/4, and whenever it attacks, each opponent loses 3 life. So it can end games quickly. And I've actually never played anybody in Commander out of all my Commander games that have ever played this mana rock. So I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention real quick. But anyways, back to what I was saying for closing comments. I absolutely love turtles. This was a lot of fun to build. It was a challenge from Absolute Cactus, Goose, and Briar. So we were all challenged to build some out-of-the-box tribal decks. Some of us not so out of the box as the others. So what we ended up with was I picked turtles not knowing what the support was for it and had a lot of difficulty with it, and thus I went with ships and turtles. I hope Absolute Cactus will come on the channel later and present his deck tech. He did crabs, however, he did a lot of changelings in his crabs, and he actually has slivers in there also, with the caveat that he can turn everything into a crab with a couple of different cards. I don't remember the names of them off the top of my head. Our friend Goose, he went with spiders. And then the easiest one of us that actually has, and spiders have a lot of support, and the easiest one was Briar went with wolves. So I hope this stands up in that grouping. However, I will never rip this deck apart. I will only continue to upgrade it as new turtles come out. And hopefully I will always have a turtle tribal deck. And if I ever sit down at a game table with you guys and you want to see this deck played, let me know. I'd be happy to pull it out. I will absolutely love playing this deck all the time. And it's also a great deck to have around in case you sit down at a table and everybody has 5 or 6 decks, not the focus. This is it's tribal, and I would say that it's sort of focused in what it's meant to do, but it's focused with a lot of issues. So I would call this a 5-6 deck out of 10. It's not like a chair deck or that's going to be a 4 or 5. I'd call this a 5 or a 6. And have fun. I would like to see some other people build some out-of-the-box tribals. And if you have built one, leave a comment down below or leave your deck list. I'll see about putting this deck list up after this video renders.